Welcome to Living Large Television with Mark Henry, CEO of Alloy Wealth. For over 15 years, Alloy Wealth has focused on your financial needs and values when it comes to retirement planning and investment management. Mark and his team are committed to helping pre-retirees and retirees navigate complicated future planning decisions in order to meet and exceed your goals. This is Living Large Television.
Welcome to Living Large Television. My name is Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined today by Mark Henry, CEO of Alloy Wealth Management. Mark, what a privilege it is to be here with you today. How are you?
I'm just excited to have you, and thanks for filling in on short notice and stuff. So Cynthia and Rebecca were not available this week, and you stepped in.
Well, I'm honored to be here, especially as a fellow North Carolinian. It's very exciting for me.
That's kind of cool too. So obviously Cynthia's right there in Waxhaw, but you're up in that Raleigh area, aren't you?
I am. So I'm in a tiny little town outside of Chapel Hill that most people have never heard of, and there's good reason for that. I know you like the small town living.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, Eflin, North Carolina.
Eflin.
Yes.
All right, so anybody from Eflin, North Carolina, today's your day. So we brought her just special for you. So yeah, as most people know, I live outside of Charlotte. Think of me as Charlotte, but the office there in the Ballantine, but my home is in Locust, North Carolina. And
beautiful.
For those of us that, it is beautiful, but for those of us that live in Locust, we know it's not the way Locust was a few years ago. It's growing so fast out there.
Absolutely.
We've got a big plant coming in and out there near us, and it's just Albemarle, the entire area is just it's just changing.
Just booming.
So it's unbelievable.
It is.
But I'm not leaving.
Right.
I am staying, and I'm not going anywhere.
That's
I love
I
it
tell
out
people all the time. I have been very blessed to live and travel all over the world, but the happiest I've ever been in just everyday life is in North Carolina, and I think that says a lot.
Yeah, it does. I love it there. It's truly my home. I mean, I could live anywhere I want, and this is where I choose to live.
Yes.
I love it. Love South Carolina, too, so really happy. So
I'm glad you have offices expanding there as well.
Yeah, I know.
So
well,
exciting.
we've currently got, we've got North Myrtle, and we've got Greenville, South Carolina, and Charlotte. We're going to do Hilton Head soon, and then Nashville's certainly on our radar. I want to be in that music town. I can't maybe Franklin or somewhere out there near Nashville.
Love Nashville. That's
we're just going to keep expanding. It's our industry needs us, and the people need us, and so we're happy to do it.
That's
so having a good time.
Well, good.
So we've got a lot to talk about today, and this being your first show with us is going to be a lot of fun for the audience. And if you're new to the show, this is live television. It's unscripted, and we're going to talk about financial topics. And there's no telling where the show might go, and that's why people watch it each and every week. Our ratings are really well, and I think it's because there's no telling. We did a show recently in Bixby, which if you're a Samsung user, I guess that's the Apple version of Siri or something, but Bixby decided to step on and start talking to us. So if it does that again, I'm prepared. So anyway,
that's awesome.
Live television. So what do you got for us today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, Mark, one of the things that I know really sets you apart, in addition to being a fiduciary, which is something that I personally have always taken very seriously. It's so important that we are always serving the client's best interests and doing what is, in fact, in their best interest. But you specialize in the decumulation phase. And I think a lot of folks don't always fully understand that there's a difference between financial planning in your younger years, and then as you near and enter retirement, there's just different things that need to be taken into consideration. But what I'm wondering is, when people come into your office, I'm guessing one of the biggest questions that they have for you is, can I go ahead and retire? Is it possible for me to go ahead and do that? And I'm wondering, do you ever have any clients come in who then feel surprised or maybe even relieved because you take a look at everything comprehensively and go, yeah, you're good to go? Does that ever happen?
It does. It does. And I love that question because, people ask why I chose to specialize in this. It's personal. My father, losing his money on Black Monday and all that back in the markets and all changed their retirement. So that was one of the reasons. But also, and these people that work in these big box retail firms, the ones on every street corner, they exist for a reason. If I wasn't in this industry, I have 3 children, but let's say I did something else with my life. And so the kids now, I've got one that's out of college that works for us, but let's say he worked for somewhere else, Hunter. And so he's 27 and he should start saving for life, right?
Yep.
Well, he couldn't come to my firm. That's not who I'm designed for.
Because he's too far out from that
it's not even that.
stage.
He has no money.
Well, that too, yes.
That's the reason. I'm just being bluntly honest. He has no money.
Because time is our biggest asset.
Right. He has no money. So he needs to go to one of those big box retail firms. He needs to start investing in a commission-based portfolio. So every time he gives them $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever the number, here's the way the industry works. Every one of those big box firms are designed the same. They employ stockbrokers. They're not licensed fiduciaries. Sometimes there is, but very rarely. They don't need that license, the big boy license.
Right.
They just need a stockbroker's license. So you walk in, and if you have $1,000, $10,000 saved up, $20,000, whatever, they're going to help you. They have to take you. They have a quota. They'll take everybody that walks in the door. And so Hunter could go meet with one of those lovely young men or women and say, I want to start a portfolio. Great. We're happy to have you. Shake their hand. So what do you want to do? I want to start investing $1,000 a month. Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
Right.
So every time he does that, they would sell him things for that portfolio, and they would make a commission.
Right.
And they deserve that commission.
They're working
and he deserves to pay those fees and pay those commissions because he needs that to be done for him. But at some point, if my son was smart like he is, Liberty University graduate and financial planning degree and stuff, he would one day accumulate enough money to where he could leave that retail big box world and go seek out a specialist, an independent, a fee-based, not a commission-based, a fee-based, someone that said, Hunter goes in and says, I have this much money and here's what I want to accomplish. Okay, and we're a good fit. Here's what I will charge you each year to manage your money. And here's what we expect, and here's what we're going to do for you. And that opens a whole new world up to my son.
Right.
So the reason I don't have a lot of the 25-year-olds or 27s, that's not to say I don't have some. First off, clients bring their children. I'm never going to say no to the kids.
Right.
Come on, you're already a client. One day you're going to get the money because we're going to have legacy planning.
It's really a family affair, right?
So we want those young people. So we get them from that standpoint. But then I also have some young people that actually have money, believe it or not. Yes, it's true. Some of them, I think about one that made their money in the YouTube world, or I think about another one that I have that is a sports athlete. And you say a sports athlete? Oh yeah. Well, of course they have money. Yeah, very, very special kind of sports athlete. They play video games.
Isn't that's a big thing these days?
Are you kidding me? I had no idea. When I found this out, I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, I remember telling Hunter and telling Seth, never had to tell Amy that because Amy, my daughter, never played the video games. But I had her, you get off that Xbox, get outside and get a stick and do something fun. Get off that.
You're like, oh gosh,
why did I do that? I should have said, son, have you put 2 hours into Call of Duty today? I need you on that Xbox. Right? Because the amount of money this esports athlete has made at a young age is mind-blowing. I had no idea, right? And that's kind of how the world has changed. But the reality is, answering the question is yes. We see people all the time that are asking, are we prepared for retirement? Are we heading in the right direction? And here's the problem. The system is broken. Wall Street is completely broken. And you say, Mark, I thought you liked Wall Street. I didn't say I didn't like it. It's broken because if Wall Street has tried to convince millions of Americans that the monthly statement you receive in the mail is your plan. And I have yet to be able to read one of those in a manner that I can look at you, Kristen, and say, oh yeah, here's exactly how much money you can withdraw, adjusted for tax, after inflation for the rest of your life, and you'll never run out, Kristen. Yep, I'm looking at the statement, you're good.
Well, there's so many personal factors that come into play. Yeah.
I have to take not only one type of plan, I have to do a multitude of plans, run thousands of scenarios to come back to be able to show you how to accomplish that off of the statement you provide us. They're telling us we got to go to break. Gosh, this is flying by.
Oh, it goes by so fast.
So excited you're on here with me today.
Thank you so much.
Hey, we're going to go to commercial break. And actually, I think we're going to play a very important video that's special to me. We don't do this very often, but I think we're going to play a pretty cool video next. But before we go, here's a phone number for you. Take out your phone right now, and you can write the number down, or you can store it, but I'd encourage you just to call it. Just do it right now. 888-272-0650. If you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, this opportunity is for you. We'll take the next lucky 15 callers that call in right now, whatever market you're in, pick up the phone and call, and my team of fiduciaries and our certified financial planning team will absolutely create a written retirement plan for you, a financial plan. If you're 15 years out from retirement, good for you. Get started early. If you're 10 years out, 5 years out, or if you're already in retirement, don't delay. You need this now. reach out at 888-272-0650. Let's get that plan started for you today so you can start living large in retirement. Kristen?
Mark, thank you so much. And to our viewers at home, again, that number for you to call is on the bottom of your screen, 888-272-0650. We have so much more to cover for you when we come back right after this short commercial break. Stay with us.
You know, I was 13 years old, and I walked in the house, and I could just tell, you could feel the tension even at that young age. And it turned out my dad had lost his job. There was talk of us moving and the only home I'd known and all this uproar and what was going to happen. It was very traumatic for me at 13 years old. You fast forward a number of years later, my father and my mom are retired. They live in Jupiter, Florida. My dad was an avid golfer, and it was just the retirement of their dreams. And I got a phone call on a Monday. I was still living in Atlanta at the time. And my mom said, you know what happened today in the financial markets? It was referred to as Black Monday. And basically they had lost in a single day over half of their retirement savings. Losing over half of it at one time in one day caused him to then move it all out. And then it became apparent that he couldn't stay in the retirement of his dreams. And the reality is, what control did my dad have over when Black Monday happened? Well, he didn't. But he did have control over how he was invested. But my father didn't have a retirement plan. And when I designed Alloy Wealth and built Alloy Wealth, it was on the structure of, there's plenty of wealth managers out there. But what you can't find is a partner in the planning side of retirement. We do everything here at Alloy Wealth with the end in mind. We figure out what we're looking for in the future, and then we back up and come backwards to build the plan around that. You can't wait until you're in the middle of a storm to go find shelter. You're already wet. Well, an alloy is a metal where you take several metals and you combine them to make them stronger than they are individually. When you think about retirement planning, that's exactly what we do here. We're going to take a portfolio and combine it together to make it stronger than it was on its own. At Alloy Wealth, I feel like we work best with couples and individuals that have an open mind about life. They're positive, they're enthusiastic, they have an idea of what they want to do, and they like the idea of having a written financial plan that can help ensure their success in doing that. What we do is we're money managers. We're fiduciaries. We partner up with our clients. So think of us as a holistic firm where we're looking at more than just the dollars, and you have to kind of get all that correct. And welcome back on Living Large Radio. Living Large Radio is a big part of what I do. Each week I'm able to talk about topics that people need to hear about and give them insights into how to do retirement. Living Large Radio was really designed around the 5 F's, which is faith, family, friends, finance, and fitness. Because I believe in life you have to get all those correct. So when I think of what I do and how I try to get those right, for me personally, one is focusing on others through my job, but it's also focusing on others through my church. And a big part of my life is Ridge Church. And serving there for the last 10 years has been a major part of my life, and it will be for the next 10. I couldn't imagine going to church and not serving in church. I get up every day and I'm so blessed that I get to do what I do. And I love what I do. So focusing on helping people get what they need in life has blessed me beyond my dreams. I think it was very clearly said, if you focus on what others want enough, you'll get everything in life you're looking for. Well, that has certainly been true for me, for my family, and for Alloy Wealth.
Well, welcome back to Living Large Television. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Mark Henry, the CEO of Alloy Wealth Management. Mark, we've already covered so much great stuff in today's episode. And I know one of the things you mentioned earlier, we were talking about the importance of time, and obviously that there's a difference between the accumulation phase and the decumulation phase. Yeah. One of the things that is so challenging for people today is the good news that we are living longer than we ever have before.
Way longer.
The issue, however, is we don't want to outlive our money.
Right.
And so I'm curious, when folks come in, how do you handle that piece? Because it's a huge piece of the retirement planning puzzle, but obviously it's an unknown. And so when you run your projections, how far out are you running them? How do you help clients navigate that?
Well, we listen to our clients, we talk to them, but one of the things that I think most, not all, but most of them tell me when we sit down is they don't think they'll live as long as they might. So when we talk to them about that, we kind of have a standard. We're going to run your plan, especially if it's a married couple. We're going to run the actual plan all the way out to age 95 for at least one of the married couple, one of the partners. Somebody's living to 95. We're assuming that.
Right.
Maybe not both of them, but somebody is. Now, we know people live longer than that. I have clients. I have one right now, Maribel. She's 102.
Wow.
So people are living longer than that. But we're going to run the plan to 95. I feel like if I can get you to 95 and you've still got gas left in the tank, I've done my job. And so that's how we're going to do it, even when people tell me that they probably won't live that long or people in their family haven't. But health is different today than it once was.
Oh, it totally
So we
is.
have to think about it. And that's the idea of retirement planning, because the Bible is very clear. I can't build your walls high enough to protect you from everything. But I've been doing this a very long time. And so we are independent, we are fiduciaries, and we can look at the things we've seen others go through and bring them to your awareness.
Yes.
And talk to you about them and then incorporate them into your plan, so at least we know that if this happened, this is how we deal with it.
Right.
Think about this when you're working with that big box retail firm. Is there a possibility long-term care could enter someone's household? Yes. And it's rising every day.
Yep.
Now, let me be very clear about it. I don't sell traditional long-term care insurance. Oh, we could, we don't. I don't believe in it. It's one of those unknowns. There's enough unknowns in life. You say, well, what do you mean unknowns? Well, traditional long-term care insurance is you buy it when you're young and healthy, like I am, like you are, and we pay, and we pay, and we pay, and by the time we may need it, what's happened to the premium, the cost of it?
Oh gosh, exorbitant.
It's gone crazy, right? So that's an uncontrollable in the plan. Well, planning has enough uncontrollables in it already.
Yes.
And so where does all that money go, by the way? And so unfortunately, what people end up doing is they get late in life and they cancel them. They cut it. Well, that worked out terrible.
Right. You paid all this money for all that
That's
time
horrible.
and don't even get to use the benefit of it.
Or they call the insurance company and say, I can't afford this new increase. They say, well, I'll tell you what, could you pay us what you paid us last year? And these insurance companies are so nice. Yeah, we could do that barely, but we could figure that out. Okay, you know what? We'll let you keep making the payment you paid last year. Now we're going to cut what we're going to pay you if you need us. Well, that's not good either.
Right.
And so they're left with bad decisions. We don't want that in financial planning. So we want to take that kind of stuff away. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't be planning for long-term care.
Absolutely.
But most people working with these big box retail firms, your local bank, your one on every street corner, the brand names that you've heard of, the captive companies, they don't have a solution for this. Or if they do, it's traditional and it costs a lot. But we have to plan for it.
Yeah.
And we have to plan for like how you want your long-term care. Like my own personal plan is a diabetic for a very long number of years, happy to say completely insulin-free, even though the doctor said it would never happen, right?
Yep.
It's amazing. We're living in different times and the mind is very powerful. You can do what you want in life. That's
And you
truly
did the work.
living large. That's exactly right. I put the work in and it's made a difference. But I can tell you how my plan works. Oh yeah, my plan doesn't start paying when I'm outside of the home in some confined someplace. I don't want that. In fact, if you ever want to know if I've had to go somewhere, come out to the house. You open that front door, there's hardwoods there. If you see nail marks going from the middle of the floor out that front door, you know they got me. That's the only way I'm leaving my house.
Right.
My plan starts paying me the money in my home when a doctor says, and I had to be very clear, I said a doctor, not Terry, that's my wife,
Right.
says I can't perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living.
yes.
Because according to her, I can't perform 2 of them already. I think one of them's cooking and cleaning. But anyway, so she's already going to say it doesn't matter what she thinks. It does matter what she thinks.
Yes.
Not when it comes to this part of it.
Exactly.
So when a doctor says I can't perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, money starts coming into my home. So we can hire people so I can stay where I want to stay in my home.
But you've done the planning in your retirement planning to have that enough to fund it.
And this is what's missing. This is
Right.
why we exist. I can't believe it's time to go to another commercial break. We're going to make this one a short one. But listen, don't miss this opportunity. Get a second opinion. Do it right now. Don't procrastinate. Don't delay. Reach out right now at 888-272-0650. We're going to accept 15 callers right now. If you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, this is for you. That's a good start. Obviously, if you have $2 or $3 million saved, you need this phone call as much as anybody. 888-272-0650. All we're agreeing to do is sit down with you and create a written retirement plan done by a certified financial planner, and we're going to give it to you complimentary, free of charge. Leave your checkbook at home. There's nothing for sale. All you have to do is pick up the phone right now and call 888-272-0650. Kristen?
Mark, thank you so much. Again, to our viewers at home, that number is on the bottom of your screen, 888-272-0650, or you can scan the QR code and you'll be sure to get connected with Mark and his team. We encourage you, take advantage of this opportunity. If you're hearing us talk about some of these topics today and it's raising questions in your own mind, maybe about your long-term care needs, what financial planning specifics you need to have in place for your individual situation, call the number. They would love to help you. We'll be back with more with Mark right after this.
Do you know how much you're paying in fees or commissions with your current plan or advisor? What about unnecessary risk or future tax implications? Sit down with a fiduciary advisor who can help you understand important retirement concepts, and so you can make the best decisions for yourself moving forward. We may even be able to answer questions you didn't even know needed to be asked.
Your financial future starts now with a phone call.
Welcome back to Living Large Television. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Mark Henry. Mark, another important subject that we haven't even broached today.
Well, I know.
We have so much to cover,
we have a
right?
lot, but there is another important subject we need to broach. When do I get my sunglasses?
Oh.
I mean, seriously.
I wish. So I always tell people when people, I call and they say, can you spell your last name? I say Oakley, like the sunglasses, but no relation, unfortunately.
Seriously?
Seriously, none.
That's the only reason
None
I
in the
brought you
family.
on.
Oh, well,
we needed
sorry.
a co-host because Cynthia and Rebecca weren't available, and they said, Kristen Oakley. I said, oh, from the Oakley sunglasses. I love those.
Right?
So I don't get a pair of glasses?
No, I don't even get them. I'm
all right,
sorry.
all right.
I married a good old North Carolina boy.
Well, and I love that, though. And if I understand correctly, your husband is a man after my own heart because my daughter is going to be a teacher. Is that
really?
right?
Yeah. He is, yes. He's been teaching for over 20 years now.
Over 20 years. So she's a senior at App State, Amy is, and she's going to be an elementary school teacher starting next year. Yeah, so she's in that last semester where she's actually in the classroom teaching this semester.
Good for her.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's going to be an amazing teacher. So,
I tell my
what
husband
a hard gig. What grade does he teach?
He's high school history.
High school history. Now, I will say, high school's tough, but history was one of my favorite subjects. Math and history were the two subjects that I love the most. I'm still a history nut, so I love that. I can't wait to meet him.
We will be out, undoubtedly, and we will run into a student he taught maybe 8-10 years ago, and they say, Mr. Oakley, you were my favorite teacher. I still remember when you talked about X, Y, Z.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, so proud. So proud. He pours his heart and soul into what he does.
Well,
he loves it.
we have in our company, we take clients of all demographics and ages, and that we do. But the reality is, we make a special place in our company for teachers because they've worked so hard.
Yes.
And quite honestly, a lot of times they haven't saved as much money for retirement as most people have because they were never paid as much.
Nope.
But I find that they're able to get by on less, and we can actually make them a living large retirement plan out of less money because they've kept their debt in line. They're very smart. That's why they're teachers. Yep. They've kept their debt in line. They've kept their spending in line. And we have many, many successful teachers part of our practice. I love those demographics. When I do speaking and stuff, I charge fees to speak at big companies and everything. Yep. But when I get to speak for teachers, I waive the fee. When I speak for the municipalities, the police officers, the firefighters. I love that. I never collect a fee for speaking when I'm hired to do that. I always waive the fee. Or donate it because I just feel like they're already doing so much for us.
They are. And that lack of financial education that we've all unfortunately suffered from growing up.
It's the truth.
And then you're thrown into a position. I know my husband always tells a story when he first was becoming a teacher and signing up for retirement. There was no education around what they were actually signing up for.
It's still that way, though. Every company is this way. Yes. The HR departments and stuff, they put your money in the 401, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or what did you put down on your paper? Okay, I'm going to do the same.
Definitely definitely put your money in the 401. I didn't say stop putting your money. Definitely do that. But get professional planning advice with what you should be putting it in. So that when it does, I get so many calls, especially from clients' children and stuff, that'll call me and they'll say, like, what should I do with this? Come in. We can't tell you that over the phone. Come in, sit down with us, bring the options your 401 allows, and let's build a plan out of that 401 to get you where you want to go.
Absolutely. Well, and then the other key piece too is once they retire, is not leaving that 401k money behind, because you're so limited in the options that you have available.
Not even when they retire, Kristen, because many people don't know this, but when you hit that magical age of 59 and a half, you can do what's called an in-service transfer. You can take your 401. Now, you're not quitting work. You're still going to work there. But you can take that 401k, 403b. You can roll it over. That's not a taxable event, and put it into an IRA. And so an IRA is an individual retirement account. Now, why someone would want to do this is very simple. Your 401 offers some great choices, most likely.
We hope so.
But when you move it away from the 401, now keep in mind, you don't close the 401. Next week, you're still working. You get paid next week. What do? You put more money back in the 401. But all that money you saved, you move it out, put it in your IRA, and now it's under your control. And the world becomes your playground. We help people do that each and every day. And if that's one of the things you're interested in, when you call in, tell us you want to talk about rolling your 401k over. Or heaven forbids, Kristen, you're not going to believe this, but we see people every day that have left a company and left the money at the old company. I've had people do it 2 or 3 times. So if that's you, don't feel bad. It doesn't make you special. I've seen it. But literally, can you imagine you're 3 companies down the road at this new company? I had one recently, and they said it's been 20 years. They had this other money still over there growing hopefully. But is there any possibility, any realm you live in where you believe that what you invested that money in 20 years ago is what it ought to be invested in today?
There's been so much change. Well, not just in the world, but in your own life, right?
I'm telling you, everything's changed. We got to get that money out of the 401s in most cases, not everybody, but in most cases, and get it into your IRA for yourself. Hey, I can't believe this show's wrapping up, Kristen, but we got to go to the phones one more time. We still have a few spots available. Don't miss this. Take an opportunity. Take a chance. What do you have to lose? It's absolutely complimentary, or another word for that is free. A written retirement plan done by a certified financial planner. I've seen other firms charge $2,000 or $3,000 for a plan done by a certified financial planner. We're willing to give it away absolutely complimentary if you're one of the lucky next 15 callers and you've saved at least $250,000 or more for retirement. The number to call is 888-272-0650. Again, that number is 888-272-0650. Hey, we hope you found the information today useful and helpful, because that's how we intended each and every week on Living Large Television. And I want to put a cheap plug in for our YouTube channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We have so much content that's uploaded daily on the YouTube channel, Living Large Retirement with Mark Henry. It would mean a lot to me if you'd reach out and subscribe on the channel. And most importantly, stay tuned to see us next week on Living Large Television. Kristen?
Mark, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you next week.